Thank you and welcome to my channel, Simply Your World, where we discuss past and present events that will affect you if they haven't already. I got a question. How do you react to someone who is disabled after you found out that they disabled themselves intentionally? And this is exactly what we're going to get into tonight. This is a lady named Jewel. Some people heard about this. Some people haven't. I guess from your perspective, I don't know how you will take it. In her case, I don't think she has a disorder. I think she's just more delusional. You know, if you want to call that a disorder, if she's suffering from something else that forces her to do this, but I honestly don't believe that it is the disorder itself. And after we get into it, you will see exactly what I mean. This lady here, as you see, she wanted to go blind on purpose. So she sought the resources and the people that was actually going to help her carry this plan out. Very interesting story. You never know who you're dealing with. You never know what someone is dealing with. I will say that. This is something that I definitely take from this as well. So sit back, watch it. It should be interesting. If you have seen it before, please leave a comment on about how you feel. If you haven't, please leave a comment, subscribe as well, and please hit that like button. I'll appreciate it. So let's get into it.
For most people, going blind would be a nightmare. But for Jewel Chooping, it was the fulfillment of a lifelong dream. She suffers from a rare condition called body integrity identity disorder, which led her to deliberately take her own sight.
When there's nobody around you that feels the same way, you start to think that you're just very crazy. I don't think I'm crazy. I think I have a disorder. BIID means that you have a need to be disabled in some way. In my case, it was a need to go blind.
9 years ago, Jewel took the drastic decision to blind herself, and she researched the method she would use.
I found that lye is very painful, although it does get the job done. I found that drain cleaner is a little less painful, although it does a lot of damage to the eye. Because drain cleaner was easily available to me, I went with that.
She found a psychologist willing to help her, and after 2 weeks of working together to make sure she was ready, they carried out Jewel's plan.
I laid down on the sofa and he sat next to me. Dropped 2 drops into each eye. My eyes were screaming. I had some drain cleaner going down my cheek, burning my skin. In the moment, all I could think of was, I'm going blind. It's going to be okay.
After waiting half an hour to make sure the damage was done, the psychologist took Jewel to hospital, where doctors fought to save her sight.
Hold on. So wait a minute. After the psychologist, these are the type of things you just cannot make up, right? After the psychologist comes over, gives her the eye drops, after she researched her own methods, showing you that she's not crazy, right? She knew not to take so much pain because she knew that lye would have chewed her eyeballs completely out of her head. And she knew that. The drain cleaner mildly took her sight away after a few months, right? And then beyond all that, like I said at first, the psychologist helps her with this and then takes her to the hospital for the doctors to clean her up. This is where your tax money is going. You know, does she deserve medical care and Medicaid and Medicare and all these different things? Does she need to be on the system at all? After she does herself like this, to me, it don't make sense. To me, it looks like she's searching for attention in some kind of way. You know, leave a comment, tell me how you feel, but let's get back into it.
When I woke up the following day, I was joyful until I turned on my back, opened my eyes, and could see the TV screen. I was so enraged, and I thought that it hadn't worked. Then over about 6 months, the sight in both eyes slowly went away. I was so happy. I felt that this was who I was supposed to be.
While Jewel was happy, her actions cost her her relationship with her family. But this was something she'd been building up to throughout her life.
How does anyone tell her that she's not supposed to be blind? Even though we call a certain way of life normal, There's other people, obviously, that look at life and call normal crazy, if that makes sense. We all know what we should do. Get a job, get married, you know what I mean? Try to get a car, provide for the family. But it's some people out here who just literally do the things that they want to do. And us as humans, and we don't want no one putting us in a box. On the flip side, playing devil's advocate a bit, do we feel should we feel that she's not disabled? Should we feel if she's not normal? You know what I mean? I hope, does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Let's get into it.
I first developed the idea that I need to be blind when I was around 6 years old. I was told by my mother that if I looked into the sun, I'd go blind, and so I stared into the sun for hours on end. Thinking about being blind made me feel comfortable. I was blind simming, which is pretending to be blind. Becoming blind was definitely a difficult decision to make. I tried to avoid it, but it kept coming up in my head, and by the time I was 21, it was a non-stop alarm that was going off.
As extreme as Jules' case sounds, she is not alone.
Wow.
Dr. Michael First is a leading expert on the condition. He even coined the term BIID to describe it.
A lot of people who have this just live with it, but they don't take that step of actually actualizing it. But a significant minority of people with this have the feeling so strongly that they will go and do something to make it happen.
See, that's that psychologist talking about there's more. Of course, there is more people that's dealing with it. We obviously see that. But there's more people dealing with it, but just don't go through with it. That's that psychologist talk trying to spread the net wider. If you know anything about psychology, psychiatry, they're always trying to spread the net bigger and wider and give everybody a pill or a shot in some kind of way. Going off on a tangent a bit about that, but it's definitely relevant to this story. But she needed something. I believe the lady needed something way before this, though.
Our job is to reduce suffering however it's possible. The question is, what can be done? People have tried therapy, they've tried medication. None of those have really been successful. The ethics of whether it is okay to take a normal person and make them disabled is, I think you could make it an ethical case that if you conceptualize this as treating a condition, then it's okay to do it. The big fear, of course, is somebody goes ahead and gets an amputation and becomes disabled and then changes their mind. I'd like to encourage people to do what makes sense to make them feel better, but this is such a drastic move that it's hard to encourage.
Initially apprehensive, Jewel has now told her friends in the blind community about how she took her own sight.
I told her that I didn't care, that I think there's no resentment for her voluntarily taking her eyesight. That's not who I am.
I just don't think I've ever known anyone who had that condition. I think there's a lot understood in the medical community, but I'm sure that by what happened to you, it will be helpful to somebody else.
Hey, Joel. How's it going?
Oh, hi, Al. Does this affect our friendship at all?
No, actually, I want to thank you for sharing it with me. I think it's a really inspiring story, actually, because you've overcome a lot here. You're a very positive person. You contribute a lot to the blind community, and I think that's a great thing.
Now, Jewel hopes her story will help other people in her position and lead to a wider understanding.
Maybe it could help someone. There's a lot of things we can take from here. A lot that we can take, but we're going to keep it brief. We're going to go back to the first question. How do you or could you feel sorry for someone or accept, especially if you're already blind? Can you accept someone who intentionally blinded themselves, saying that they felt as if from a long time ago they should have been blind? Where was her parents at when she was staring in the sun for hours on end? Where were the parents at? Where she was able to sit somewhere, whether it's in her room or wherever, to stare into the sun for hours. She could have been capping on that too, but obviously not. She has something going on. Can you go so far as to feel as if they need resources off of the government to now take care of themselves when they were able-bodied? Maybe they should have got the resources sooner. Maybe they should have talked to a psychiatrist or a psychologist sooner versus talking to a licensed, I don't know if he was licensed or not, psychologist who is going to actually carry out this plan versus saying, well, wait a minute, this ain't normal. And then go so far as trying to make her feel as if these type of things are worldwide or happens all the time or a marginalized community or just whatever you want to call it. I find it idiotic, but it's not me. There's multiple things that's happening in this world. There's multiple things that's happening in this world that we don't have a clue of. There's things that's happening right next door to you, in your neighborhood that are heinous acts that some people call normal. Correct me if I'm wrong, So I don't know how to take this. I know I have my opinion that maybe she may be off her rocker a little bit, but she may truly, truly have a disorder. But going back on one of the first points I made, if you can go so far as to choose the method that you use, you're not you don't have a disorder. You're just crazy. You know what I mean? Or do you call crazy disorder? I don't know. There's no cure for mental illness. So what do you do with it?
These days, I have no regrets. I'm very happy as a blind person. If somebody's out there with the same feelings as I have, I would say don't go blind the way I did. I know there is a need, but perhaps someday there'll be treatment for it. And just wait for that treatment if you can. If you feel that you have to, at least talk to a psychiatrist. Try to get somebody who knows what they're doing to help you. Don't do it for yourself because it's dangerous. That's why I'm getting my story out there to help people understand BIID.
I wonder if at that point is she regretting her. She was a cute girl right there. I wonder if she's regretting her actions, with that last couple of comments, or was that just something to put out there as a disclaimer to try to just help the next person? I don't know how to take that part either. This lady's really confused, and I wonder what her family was thinking as she was growing up. Again, please like, comment, share, and until next time, I'll see y'all later.